Thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today we got to talk about the Cowboys.
Fuck, motherfucker, motherfucker.
More specifically, Dak Prescott and how much he sucked this past weekend in the playoffs. And yeah, we do need to trade him. We've been needing to trade him. We didn't need to sign him to $40 million a year. It's ridiculous. The guy was never worth it. And the Cowboys knew he was never worth it. That's why they franchise tagged him. That's why they waited so long, because they were hoping, hey, maybe next year he turns into, a top 5 quarterback. He never did. And by then they're like, hell, I guess we'll go ahead and pay him. Well, now you're getting what you pay for. Now, a whole lot of people in the media are now all of a sudden talking about trading Dak Prescott. I've been saying this shit from the beginning. I was saying trade him when he was still on his rookie deal, man, because he just wasn't worth $40 million. So thanks to everybody for finally catching up to me. Now, will the Cowboys do this? No. I understand this is an exercise in futility. It'll never happen because the Cowboys have no balls. They don't think outside the box. They used to at one point. I mean, way back in the day, they were the first team to really utilize the draft to build a team. And not just utilize the draft, but I mean, really get innovative with it. Like, we don't just have to draft guys who play college football. Let's draft a guy who runs track, Olympic sprinter, and make him a wide receiver. Let's take Roger Staubach, who after he's done playing has to serve 4 years in the Army. And not just anywhere, he has to go to Vietnam for 4 years. Well, we're going to go ahead and draft him. And let's not forget the Herschel Walker trade, just in case you think, oh, well, that's Jerry. Jerry's never had any balls. Bullshit. All right, he traded Herschel Walker. You can say, well, he got this big haul for him. Of course he traded him. No. Back then, teams did not trade running backs. I'm talking about big-time superstar running backs in their prime. They didn't do that. Running backs had almost the same value as a quarterback, if not more so. So regardless of what picks you were throwing at them, teams didn't trade those guys. But Jerry had the sack to do it. All right, now he's older. His son doesn't have any balls. Apparently the rest of the family does it. Nobody in that organization does. And no one's going to take a chance. When Jerry took a massive chance just buying the Cowboys. I'm like, what the hell happened to you, son? But there are possible trades. There are trade partners out there. We're going to go through those. I'm going to use a tier list to do it. So let's get going. All right, first off, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers, trading Aaron Rodgers for Dak Prescott. Not going to happen, okay? This was a Skip Bayless fantasy fucking dream. It's not going to happen. And there's no way I would have done that anyway. Aaron Rodgers makes more money than Dak Prescott. Now he's older and dirt. Can he still play some? I think if he goes to a good team, he can still play. But I don't want to take the risk. So I say F, no. The Ravens, people talked about Lamar Jackson, but, do the Ravens want to trade for a guy in Dak Prescott who, personally, I consider him not as good as Lamar. I think he throws the ball better than Lamar, which isn't saying a ton. And I think Lamar is a way better runner than Dak. Lamar does have some injury issues, but so does Dak. Lamar has been an NFL MVP. Dak's been semi-close before, but that was a long time ago. No one's talking about Dak as an MVP anymore. Both these guys have problems in the playoffs. All right, albeit Dak had an insanely great game against Tampa Bay. A Tampa Bay that completely sucked. All right, they just did. It would interest me a little bit, but you still got to pay Lamar, and he wants more than what Dak Prescott is getting. If he would just wanted the $40 million a year, I would think about it. But I think he's wanting more, like 50. And, no. Just simple no. Here's one that no one's talked about. Dak Prescott for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is simply just a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. However, does he really love the game? That's a big question. And Arizona's got a ton of problems with the guy. He's I don't know. He's got some mental issues, whatever. Not to mention, what was he? 5 foot tall. He's an injury risk every time he gets out there. I love the guy. He's a great player, but I don't know. I'm just not I'm not interested in taking that risk. Outstanding quarterback, but I'm more interested in him staying the Arizona Cardinals problem. Here's another one no one's talked about. Dak Prescott for Jared Goff. Now, I think you can actually maybe get more than just Jared Goff. That's why I'm including this. You can maybe get a first rounder, second rounder, something like that, in addition to Jared Goff back. Now, the Lions really like Jared Goff, and he makes significantly less money than Dak Prescott. And I don't think there's a huge talent gap between the two. And keep in mind, Jared Goff has been to the Super Bowl. I would be interested in Jared Goff at a pick, but the Lions, I don't see them doing that at all. I don't even think that's an option. I just wanted to get those few out of the way, some of these insane rumors, and I wanted to add that Lions thing in. No one's really talked about that, or the Cardinals deal. I'm sure in the coming days, people are going to, hey, there's Kyler Murray. It's going to happen. All right, people are going to talk about it. So I went ahead and put it in. Those are the four, I think, biggest quarterbacks you could, or five, whatever, that you can actually trade for. But can you actually? No. And would you want to if you could? Don't know. And I'm not in love with it. I think the absolute key to trading Dak Prescott, because you say, well, what do you do at quarterback? I think the answer lies in San Francisco. Think about it. They got three quarterbacks right now. They got Trey Lance, they got Jimmy G, and of course Brock Purdy, who just outplayed Dak Prescott. 7th round pick, not just any 7th rounder, Mr. Irrelevant, the very last pick of the whole draft. And the kid can play. He can straight up play. I'm not saying he's ever going to win an MVP. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not saying he's getting to the Hall of Fame. But the dude can play. He's a legit starter in this league. Now, everybody knows the 49ers, they're going to trade Jimmy G. Now, last year they were trying to get a couple of first rounders for him. No one was going to bite on that. They were offered first rounders. They said no. They're not going to get a first rounder this year. Not after Jimmy G got hurt yet again. That's not going to happen. They'll probably get a second rounder for him. They'll be happy to get it, and they'll move on. But then they got a real decision to make. Do they stick with Brock Purdy or their first round pick, Trey Lance, who, by the way, the little bit we saw him looked pretty damn good. It's going to be one of those. So whoever they don't keep, that's who the Dallas Cowboys should trade for. I will take Trey Lance. I will take Brock Purdy. Neither one of them make dick as far as money goes, especially compared to Dak Prescott. So you got to get him traded, use some of that draft capital to then take to the 49ers and get your new quarterback. So the rest of this tier list, that's what I'm going to base that on, is getting one of those young 49er quarterbacks who aren't making any money. And now we just need to look for places we can trade Dak to get as much ammo as possible. So let's start with the Raiders. And I absolutely love the Raiders for this. You can get 2 first-round picks out of the Raiders for Dak Prescott. And not just that, you can get Derek Carr. Now, why is that important? Let's say you get Brock Purdy. Maybe he's a flash in the pan. I don't think so. I think he's the real deal. And I think there's enough real pro people out there that are looking at Brock Purdy and say, wow, this kid can actually play. But I would love to have Derek Carr as well. Whether that's like an elite backup quarterback, a guy that can go to Brock Purdy and help him develop. Same thing with Trey Lance, by the way. And if something happens, somebody gets injured, boom, you still got Derek Carr. You can still go win games. So to me, that's a no-brainer. That is a superstar idea. Trade him to the Raiders. Same thing with the Titans. I mean, you're talking Ryan Tannehill and 2 first-round picks. All day long I do that. Ryan Tannehill would be an amazing backup quarterback to have. Superstar trade idea, damn it. Next up is the Dolphins. I don't know. I mean, Tua's got a lot of problems with concussions. They got Teddy Bridgewater, who would make a really good backup. Realistically, you're talking a couple of first-round picks from Miami plus Teddy Bridgewater. I might be enticed to do something like that if it's on the table. I'll put it in the A category because I do think Bridgewater is a good backup. I just don't like him as much as the other 2 guys as a backup. What about the Steelers? I mean, I don't know if they would do something like this. They're more of a traditional type of place. But, you know, they got Mitch the Bitch Trubisky, who I wouldn't mind him being the backup. They got Kenny Pickett. I wouldn't mind an all-out quarterback competition between Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy or Trey Lance and just whoever's the best and let them have freaking Dak. But I'm going to keep it in the A category for now because I don't know if you can get Pickett. I mean, they may want to keep him. I mean, maybe they want Mitch. I don't know. I'm just going with the A. If it's Mitch, it would probably be more of a superstar kind of deal if it's Kenny Pickett. Next up, you got the Panthers. Now, again, 2 first-round picks. I'd be good with that. They got the 9th overall, I believe, but Sam Darnold, I guess you would take him as well and hope he's okay with the backup role. I mean, he wouldn't have a freaking choice. You know, I guess you could do worse. So Sam Darnold has his moments. I think really he's going to be a backup anyway in this league. I think he'll have a pretty decent long career as a backup. So it's not as bad. It's not as bad. Just because it's Sam Darnold, I'll go a little lower. So we'll go with the B area. That works. And then there's the Texans. All right. They got a young quarterback named Davis Mills. Is he great? No. I wouldn't say he's great. There's some people on ESPN that are kind of in love with him. But really, he's not bad. I mean, I think he'll be a good backup. You know, if he's got to step in for 3 or 4 games, you know, I'm comfortable with Davis Mills. And before a whole season, I don't know about that. But I'm more interested in all the damn picks these people have. I mean, they got the number 2 overall, the number 12 overall. You wouldn't get both of those. But can I get, you know, you're talking about Dak Prescott here. Can I get the 2nd overall pick and then next year's first round and Davis Mills? Yes. I mean, come on. I mean, they can keep Davis Mills maybe. You know, throw in a 3rd or 4th rounder instead of Davis Mills. I'm good with that too. But because they got such a high pick, I'm putting them in the A category. Then there's the Jets. All right, Zach Wilson. Maybe if he's in a different place, he looks better. But like I said, you feel a lot better having Zach Wilson when you also have Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. You just feel way better about it. You know, let these guys get into the preseason. Let them sling it around, see how everybody looks. Their first rounder this year is the 13th overall, so I'm going to deduct some points. And, of course, I got to deduct some for Mr. Wilson. But B level. And I think the Jets would be very, very interested in trading for Dak Prescott. And that's a big part of this. And, of course, Skip Bayless has got to talk about, we got to get Tom Brady to the Dallas Cowboys. Are you kidding me? He'll be 46 next year if he plays. And if he plays, he may only play for 1 more year. No. What I'm interested in I'm interested in their picks. All right, they got a lot of picks. That's what I want. If they want to throw in Kyle Trask, who's a very young quarterback, I don't know if he's any good. He's been inactive for the last, I think, 2 years. They haven't really played him at all, not even in a backup role. But I'll take that young kid and see what's there in all the picks. So I'll put him on the B level because it's Kyle Trask. It's not Tom Brady. But like I said, the 49ers hold the key to something like that. There's the Colts. All right. They got the 4th overall pick. There's no quarterbacks they have that I would want. But could you get a couple of 1s? You know, a 3 and a 5 or some, you know, you probably get a nice haul from the Colts, man. They got a good team. They just need someone to throw the ball. Dak's a good quarterback. They would love to have him. And I would love for them to have him. And then take a couple of those picks, maybe 1 pick or whatever, go get Brock Purdy, go get Trey Lance. But because there's like no quarterback in that whole scenario, we'll go with the B. We'll put them in the B category. As you can see, there's a lot of potential trade partners out there. Everybody's got picks. That's what Dallas needs. All right? That's what we need. You can get those picks and then turn around and use, you know, what would you use on Brock Purdy? Well, let's just say that the 49ers do the traditional thing. Hey, we're going to stick with our first round pick who looked pretty good. Trey Lance, and we're going to flip this 7th round last pick of the draft into something way more valuable now that he's had this nice run this year. What would he be worth? I mean, he's getting to the NFC Championship freaking game, y'all. Is that worth a first round pick for Brock Purdy? I think it is. If they get to the Super Bowl, oh, hell yeah. If they win it, yeah, no doubt. It'll be a first and then some. So if you get a nice haul, let's say from the Colts or from Miami or from the Texans for Dak, yeah, I'll give you a first and a third for Brock Purdy. If they win the Super Bowl, or at least in the Super Bowl, yeah, I'll give you a first and a third. If the Eagles beat the shit out of them, I'll give you a first for Brock Purdy. You'd spend no money. Yeah, you're going to have, even trading Dak, you're going to get it's going to be a big ass cap hit. All right, and the best way to do it would be the post June 1st trade. That way you're saving a little bit of money. You still be like 20 something million in the hole. But if you're paying a guy $900,000 or whatever to play quarterback for you, you can more than afford that. It's better than paying Dak $50 million next year. That's the cap hit. $50 million for Dak Prescott next year. 2023. No. Trade his ass. Because if you trade him, then the cap hits like 29 if you trade him after June 1st. Which, by the way, you can announce the trade. You can work out a trade with somebody, announce it, but you just can't officially do it until June 1st. That's not a problem. Okay, well, let's say it's Trey Lance. All right, and like I said, a few games there, Trey Lance looked pretty damn good. So what would I give for Trey Lance? I would give a first, maybe a first and a third, a first and a fourth, something like that. You can get creative. And it's some kind of weird scenario because the 49ers get really, like I said, they were trying to get people to overpay out the ass for Jimmy G. But let's say they get nuts and they want like 2 first rounders for Trey Lance and 2 first rounders for Brock Purdy. Now you might be screwed on that. I would still give him a second for Jimmy G. I mean, if it came down to where the 49ers are going to be just ridiculous and you can't get a deal done, you could get a deal done for Jimmy G. Even if I had several extra first round picks, I would, if nothing else, I would throw him that for Jimmy G. Because he's still a good quarterback. He's not that much worse than Dak. And again, he's been to a Super Bowl, y'all. Dak hasn't even smelt one yet. Will Dallas do it? No. Like I said, they've been neutered a long time ago. They're going to ride and die with Dak and die with Dak. That's the way that's going to be. And Dak's going to play next year, and I believe he can then opt to redo his contract yet again and try to go for more money, which I believe he'll do, and we'll be completely screwed at that point. Yay. What a waste of a really good defense this year. Complete waste of it. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done with this video. I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.